All right, welcome in, everybody. Show 273, Locker Room Sports. Guys, today we're going to break down some Alabama-Tennessee basketball game and a little bit of local news and stuff. NFL Combine, just a little chatter about that. And right now we're talking about, we got to get in first to Alabama-Tennessee basketball game. We're going to talk about that, some scores and non-scoring and some coaching failures. Who is holding Coach Oats accountable for himself not giving 100%? Because he is so quick to take a player down and take him out of the game. There's got to be somebody's got to be talking to him, man. There has to be some accountability. Again, podcast listeners, thank you guys for coming by and hanging out. And congrats again to Spring Garden Girls three-peat for their another championship for them and Coach Rad over 1,006 wins. Wow, what an amazing career he's had. Congrats to him and wife. Just the time that they put in over there. Big shout out to them. And local stuff, baseball county tournament will start Thursday. Center Warriors will play Friday, the winner of Sand Rock and Cedar Bluff. And then Galesville and Spring Garden will play Thursday, the second game after Cedar Bluff Sand Rock. So with all that being said, we have to get into the idea of just how they've been playing overall. There's no team ball. I don't see anything that's just been ravaging about this team. It's the same thing, and they don't seem to have an aptitude to just figure things out and how to win. I mean, some teams struggle just to win, you know, and they have won some good games, and maybe you feel like I'm dissing down on them a lot, but I'm just telling you like it is. I don't know how they're top 10. They're a pure shooting team. I've said this several times. They're the Golden State Warriors. You know, when Clay and Steph were on that run there for a while, the team that the Cavaliers beat, they're either hot or they're not. Okay, they're either hitting their shots, or if they don't, then they're just going to lose the game. I just can't understand why do they not get in zone. And I'm not a good enough coach. We should have Coach Austin on here. Coach Rack could tell me what they're doing, why they're doing it, and I'm sure he could have some input of how they could do it better. I'm sure that he could. I'm just kind of baffled at there's no line of, you know, we've got to play, we've got to win. It just seems like they're just kind of out there going through the motions, and I don't like the play calling. I don't care for any of that. Nelson has just been I mean, look, if you're going to just give the minimal, then you can expect the minimum. I give this speech to kids that played for me and you know, my son or whatever. I mean, if you're trying to get a little more out of something, then you got to give a little more. And they're giving, it just seems like the minimal. The free throws are terrible. Yeah, how can you miss so many free throws? I mean, that's something that you work on as a team. And I hope that Coach Oates has the guys working on that. It feels like they just come in the gym at practice and play jump rope and play run around Red Rover or play tag or something, and then, I don't know, just bomb threes from the rafters and just see how many trick shots they can hit, and they go home like they don't work on anything. Nelson had 7 the other night. 7? You're playing a college basketball game against a number 5 at the time Tennessee team. I mean, really? 7? This is where we're at. Now, Sears has played better, more inspired. That's the word I'm really looking for. The team's not. There's not a team. This group is not inspired, and that's on the coach. And I don't want to make football references, but I have to, because most people here, we watch college basketball, but we're really college football fans, just kind of watching basketball, just waiting on spring football. I don't really. Dean likes it more than I do. You know, he's into it a little more than I am. I watch it, and it's okay. But poor performances are not. It's not enjoyable to watch a team that's just don't perform. I've turned it from Bama and watched Auburn. the other day. In 2 different games. I like how Auburn plays better. They seem like a real team. They play together. They play defense. They're not scared to move and get in front of people and contest shots. Yes, I know Broome misses a lot of wide open layups. How does he miss some of that? I mean, he'll hit some crazy shot. I don't know. It's something that's just – it's a flaw in whatever he's doing. One little thing he does wrong, you got to critique him a little bit. And I know some Auburn fans are very sensitive. And if you critique them, just how you know he could do a little better. What are you talking about? Talk about my team like that, you Bammer. You're a Bama fan. You can't talk about Auburn. What are you doing? Well, I'm not just a Bama fan. I'm trying to report news and tell you what I see. And what I see, this Bama group, it's just uncharismatic. You want Sears to be the leader. I mean, that's the hope and contingents. But that's just not the case. He had 24 the night, and Phelan had 13. Youngblood 2. Holloway 11. Appreciate him coming out. He did play okay. Stevenson 5. Man, what are they doing? I just can't. I can't understand the completency of it. It just don't make any sense. So, Bama comes out and plays well. They're hitting most of their shots for the most part. The game stayed kind of close for a while, and Bama would get on run there for a while, but they would start missing shots. And once they started missing shots, the thing is by these kind of teams, these teams like Bama, how Golden State played, these shooter teams, if you miss shots, here's the problem. The problem is when you miss the shots and you don't go back down for defense and you give up 2, we'll just say you're up 3. You can do quick math, okay? Then you're just up 1. Then you miss another shot. Then they go down. Then they're up 1. Well, after about 6 trips of that, there's an 8-point swing in the game. And offensive rebounds, Bama's had games where they've had good offensive rebounds, but they're not consistently. They were top 15, I think, in offensive rebounds at one time. But they won't get back down and to play defense. If you're missing shots, man, you've got to get back down. They're 25 for 60 on field goals. Tennessee's 26 for 61. Very close. Field goal percentage close, 42 to Tennessee's 43. 3-pointers, Bama was 9 for 24. Tennessee 8 for 21. 3-point percentage, Tennessee was 38, and Bama was 37.5, which is really also 38. Sears, anyway, led with he was 7 for 16. He hit all his free throws, had 24 points. Nelson did have 12 rebounds, and 10 of them was on the defensive end, but he's just not scoring. On the assist side, Sears leads with 4. That's just not good enough, man. It's just not good enough. Now, Auburn winning the SEC just by default, pretty much. So, no matter what happens, Bama could beat Auburn their next meeting, which I don't know if Bama's going to win another game. Tell me something wrong. Show me where I'm wrong. Just saying. Show me where I'm wrong. Where am I wrong that this team is, this group of guys are ready to play and go out and make a difference? I don't see it. So let's hit the comment section. Coach Short, what's up, sir? Great to see you. Hope you are all having a great evening. Defense does win championships, says Jeff Anderson. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Scroll back through to the top. Good topics tonight. Yes, sir. Stanford stays with the Rams, and Samuel's traded to D.C. And breaking news, Mac Jones is going to be a Titan. So we had a little breaking news there. Yeah, they're just not going. Bama's not going to play defense. Spring happiness. Yeah, I know, man. I'm hoping Kevin Daniel, good to see you. Yeah, and I think we get a spring forward. Is that this week? Do our clocks go forward again? I think now. And I know that the state has put in I think state's already passed it, and then the Congress shot it down or something about like that. So it's about daylight savings time. So, SEC wise, I like, honestly, I like Florida right now. I think they got a good shot at it. They took care of business 89-70 over Texas A&M. I did catch some of that game, and of course, the guard Richards, he had 25 on the day. Martin had 14, and Clayton Jr. had 10. A little surprise in there, and Condon had 11. So that was kind of their shot at it. Now A&M, they got some guys, man. I really like Hal Payne, and Carter only had 3 coming off, but I do like Payne and Taylor the fourth. Washington's also a good player too. A&M, Florida, Tennessee, Auburn. Those 4 teams, they've got to get through. Okay, I'm talking about Florida and A&M, 89 to I thought it was 90 to 70, but it was 89 to 70. I think Florida's playing good. I mean, they beat Auburn. They didn't even have one of their guys. I forgot which one was out. They were down one guy. So Florida can challenge Auburn because of their length. They can play the lane, and they can cut off those passing lanes. And I think they out-rebounded Auburn that game they played them, and that's a big thing on how you could beat Auburn. Auburn come out, when they beat Bama, they just come out and give them their own medicine. They just come out and just started bopping threes, and they just got way ahead, and that was it. They never looked back, and the Alabama guys, not a team, they're not a real team. There's no, I've done said it before, there's no enthusiasm, there's no sense of urgency, to get back in the game. So that's some of my takes on it. About 30 minutes in. Make sure you like and subscribe on the channel. If you come by here on Facebook, hit the little blue thumbs up down there, hit the comment section. Give me your thoughts on what you think about these couple of teams I just mentioned, A&M, Florida, Tennessee, Auburn. Those 4 teams, I think they could – they're going to get in the Sweet 16, I'm thinking. And we're just going to have to see how it turns out, There's these other teams, man, and it's been this way for a long time, and I've watched college basketball, and it's just, it is how it is. But there's just always these teams, man, and somebody is going to play an upset. Some teams like Kansas or Michigan State, man, look, Coach Izzo has been around a long, long time. Iowa State still bumping around in there. They're still a top 10 team. I like Houston. Okay, I do. I really like this Houston team. I think they got a good shot at it. Most of these teams here, they've only lost 5 games. Tennessee, Alabama, let's see here. St. John's, there's another one, man. Some of these weird teams, guys. Some of these, and I mean weird teams by, they're not teams that are naturally in this. And you'll get a team like St. John's. We'll get in there in the Elite Eight and say Florida makes it to the Elite Eight. I think we're going to have 2, probably Auburn, Tennessee, maybe at Elite Eight. Florida may get in there. I don't see us having over. There's not going to be over 3 SEC teams in the Elite Eight. I'm just saying that. That's my opinion. If there's 2, I'll be surprised. These St. John's teams, man, teams like that. You could roll down the page here, and you could even throw in even a Louisville or something. Arizona, didn't they win? They played the other night. They're not a bad team. Mississippi State, they're not a real good team. Marquette. These darn Marquette and St. John's teams, guys, those are the kind of teams. Those are the kind of teams that can just mess around and just make somebody have a bad day. Okay? Now, that's kind of my take on college basketball. Talk about Alabama, Auburn. What about Georgia beating Florida the other day? Wow. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's not like football. It's just not. So, Auburn's going to come in number 1 seed, and that's a kiss of death. I can't remember maybe UConn won it one time as a 1 seed coming in. It just takes one bad half. And what I'm thinking is, watching these guys play, and I've said this I've been saying this for a week. For a while, I don't think, this is the last thing, we'll move on. I don't think the SEC is that great as they're making it out to be. I think some of it is a little overhyped. I think some of it is being done for TV and media deals because they're the ranked teams, and you need people to watch those ranked teams. So we need these guys with the microphones talking about these teams. There's no way Bama should be the top 10. How are they top 10? I don't know how they would be top 10 after the loss to Auburn. There's no way. So I think some of this is just media bumping it along, trying to keep their numbers up, trying to keep people watching. And I got a bad feeling that we're going to find out, Elite Eight, we're going to have about 2 SEC teams in there. And one of them's going to get taken out then, and the next one will probably get thumped in the Final Four. I'm just saying. I just don't think they're that good. I think some of this is just a lot of talk to sell media deals. We've seen it in football. We've seen what happened. A lot of this talk and how it's SEC and flop, big old stinky cow turd. They just didn't. None of them performed well in the bowl games. They just didn't. A few did, but overall, I don't see the SEC. I don't. Here's the last question, I guess. Would I be surprised if Auburn won it? Yes. There's just not many ones that do. You can't have. You can watch all their games, and I've watched them play more games than I have Alabama games. They're not like Alabama where if they get cold shooting, they don't find a way. They're going to find a way to score, and their defense is good enough to keep them in the games. But, man, if you get a team that – Bama shot terrible. And they couldn't. Auburn should have beat the crap out of Alabama. They should have rolled them up out of there like a stinky wood pile. And they couldn't score. They scored enough to get 90, but when you play in a tournament and you're going to catch a team that's going to get hot and you play one of these, I don't know, Michigan State or something, they have one of those nights, man. Coach Izzo's good. They'll come out there and fire that head up, and they'll be ahead. And where they can rely on their defense to rebound and stuff, it don't matter if you rebound or not, because when that ball's just stripping the net, it don't matter who's standing on the goal. You can have all 5 of you players standing on the goal when the ball rips the net. And if they go down and have a spell, and just a half, they're not playing against Mississippi State or Arkansas or even Florida, I guess. When Florida beat them, you have a bad half, and I don't know if Auburn can do it. I don't know if they can make a run down the stretch. It's a marathon, man. This is not a sprint. This is not football. Okay? So if they win it, shout out to them. But I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be. I think your Final Four, your championship game may be one team that nobody's probably even talking about. And if I'm wrong, I'll come on here and say, hey, the SEC was great this year, and Auburn did make a run through and did win it. I don't see it happening that way. I don't think the conference is that good. That's just me. Now, breaking news, we had just talked about Mac Jones has decided he's going to be playing for the Tennessee Titans. What do you guys think about that? St. John is coached by Rick. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Good point. Pitino coaches this St. John team. And for the beat writers and the people to say, I don't care what network you said, there's related articles that I've read. And I've heard some podcast people, this Auburn team is the best team to ever play college basketball. I heard that a month ago. A month ago I heard that. Just what I've saw, what I've read. And it's a complete insult and a slap in the face to Coach K, Coach Pitino, Coach Huggins, Coach Williams, and the guys at North Carolina. Those teams made those runs for years and years and years. But no. That's asinine to say something like that. It's just stupid. It's just, realistic Auburn fans are going to go, I don't know. They've got they're the best team this year. But say best ever, no, we got to stop. Stop using that word ever. These kids take these words, he's the best dude ever. Based on what? Because they're statistically good shoot. They shoot better shots out of 100 shots. But if you take 101 shots, then where's the average go? They're skewing these numbers to make them look good. If there's one light out in the building, Auburn's the best 10% shooting field. If one guy's shoe's untied and the bleachers are folded in halfway and there's only 600 people, not 601, they're the best team ever play. You see, you take all these statistics and take these perfect little analysis to make it seem one way. They're not the best team to ever play the game. They're not even top 10. They're not even beating Fab. Fab 5 would smoke these guys. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. We're talking about Hall of Fame guys on that team. Stop. It's just asinine and acid 12. So, Mac Jones going to play for the Titans. We'll kind of see how that turns out. Yep. And yep. Ian Rappaport, let's hit this real quick. I want to kind of bring this up because I just thought it was funny and wanted to share. It happened a couple days ago, back towards the first of the week. Ian Rappaport and Schultz tie up in this feud here at a Starbucks. Schultz said first that Brady had went out skiing and was hanging out with Matthew Stafford, and he was schmooing him and moosing him and whining him and dining him, trying to get him to come to play at the Raiders, where Brady is part owner, so I get it. Now, for some reason, Rappaport, why, I don't know. Like, if some guy around here wrote an article and said, Gaston State is going to hold, the tournament for basketball next year in Gadsden instead of Center, and then because of some financial reasonings that we found out about, and then I would come on and say, well, they are going to hold it in Gadsden, but it's really not for the financial reasons. Why? The story is the story. So Rappaport comes behind him. It's just dumb. Why would Rappaport come in behind him and say that that Schultz exaggerated the story and that they just talked a little bit, and Brady has just kind of approached him about playing for the team, where Schultz made it out to be like they made it a ski lodge. They spent the day skiing and drinking wine and eating caviar, and they get into a Starbucks, and these two get into a verbal altercation, and there was some FUs and mind you effing business, and keep my effing name out of your mouth. These are two corny white reporter dudes, I guess, going to throw down about some silly details. It's the same story. It's like they're just, chicken fighting over, he broke the story first, so he had to come out and say something that he said wasn't completely true to make people read his stuff. Dude, that's third grade. That's so silly. But y'all can look it up and look a little more into it. Here's a big topic, and this was going on last week and this week. People were still talking about it. And I don't know how I feel about this, guys. Let's change gears into some college football, and then we'll do a little combine talk, and then we'll get off. Spring football, is it really important? Is it? Well, as a fan, it is. Yeah, I know, like game 2 or something, most teams playing a poo-poo, chocolate muffin team. A lot of teams are opening with, better games. Not all. I know Auburn goes to Baylor, and Bama plays Florida State. That's 2 good games, man. I mean, they're not playing like, Charleston Southern or something, or, Austin Peay. So I like spring games because it gives us a chance to go see the guys that have, worked hard in the spring, and the reports that you've read and things I've kept up on with Bama and Auburn and Georgia. I keep up with them closely. I read about all of them. So I like it. It's an atmosphere that it's always. Well, the Bama games are free to get in. I think Auburn has been charging. Was it like $5 or $5 or something to get in? Well, it's a way to go and kind of see who's been getting after it in the spring. And they're going to start those guys, and they're going to play some. And then later on in the game, you'll get to see some guys that, may not get to start, come fall. But you'll get to see them play. And if you're really a fan of that team, or just in football in general, it gives you a chance to, to kind of see what's up, kind of see how things are shaking out for those teams. How the quarterback handles some pressure, and you can't tackle him. You really can't get close to him. But I can still read some of it and see how, how it's going to go. Like, when you seen Peyton, for Auburn in the spring, he's just not a quarterback. I tried to tell you he's not. And Freeze was like, he's our quarterback, and we're going with him. We're going to win games this year. No, bro, he's just not that good. You could see it in the spring. His processing is just not there. He misses stuff. And in Milroe, you could see him break pocket and take off and run with it. But in a spring game, he's not going to do that. He did once, I think. But you can just, throw some deep balls and look nice and go out there and shine. But he struggled in some even plays then. So spring games, do you like it? Yes or no? I do. I like the spring games. Bama's is going to be, they've already announced, April the 12th at noon. But I'm pretty sure they said that it's not going to be on TV. They're not going to televise it, so you'll have to go to Tuscaloosa to see them. So that may be a trip that we have to make. Now, let's see. I hadn't heard anything from Auburn's spring football 2020. I hadn't. But it's usually the same day. A-Day will be on Saturday the 12th. Okay, Jordan Hare. So it's going to be the same day. First opportunity for fans to see the Tigers. Feature some top recruits, military participants, and their immediate family can attend for free with a $2 processing fee. Tickets. I guess they're going to sell tickets representing a mobile device. And then they play, like I said, they're going to play at Baylor. And then the 6th, they got Ball State, and then South Alabama. So, first 3 games, that's some of the take on, well, we don't need the spring games, because I heard some guys say this, Crane & Company, Jake and Blaine and them, and to say, well, we don't have to have spring games because, usually the first couple of games, they're going to be ahead, and you're going to get to see some of those younger guys. You're going to get to see them play. So maybe not have a spring. Nebraska, they're not having spring. You know why? And if you follow it closely, if you're watching, you're probably you probably follow college football closely, so I'm probably telling you something that you already know. It's because of the portal, man. Because if a guy don't get to play, or if he feels like he's slighted a little bit, I only got 12 reps out there, and the other guy got 13. Why are you down on me, coach? I'm leaving this place. This sucks. This is bull crap, coach. This is crap, man. So that's are you going to wind up with that? Is that where we're going? Because the portal, it scares guys away. It scares them away, and it makes it seem like if they don't get exactly the playing time they want, or if they don't get to make a starting roster, for the spring game, then you're going to have these guys leave. So Nebraska's not playing one. Was it USC too? I think they said they're not going to play a spring game too. There's a couple of teams, man, that's not even going to play spring football now because of the stupid portal. I don't like that. And most of them are free, and you got to realize, man, everybody don't just roll around with $300 or $400 in their pocket just to go watch a college football game. And even these last day games, like Auburn plays Baylor, it's out there, then they come home and play a game, Ball State or something. But it's still going to be I don't know, $40, $50 to even get in. I mean, you're going to take 3 or 4 kids with you, so you're going to have to spend $200 or $300 to get in. Plus, it's going to be another $200 to even eat a hot dog and drinks for a few of you. Plus gas and the trip down there and all that. Dude, you're talking about spending $500 for a Saturday to go watch a college game. That spring game is an opportunity for a lot of people that just can't afford that much to be able to go see their favorite team play football live on the turf or grass or whatever. I just think it's very unfortunate, and I hate it. I don't like it, and it's because of the portal. Because if kids don't get their way, then they'll just leave because they're a bunch of crybabies. That nobody has enough gumption to stay and fight for something if they really want it. They're not going to stay and fight. And it's hard to to get behind a player. You see a player that you like, and you try to keep up with him, and he's gone. You see him in the spring game, and I remember watching, was it Prentice at Bama? I thought, man, he's going to be pretty good. Went to see him, played a little bit. Next thing you know, he's ready to go. He's going to transfer because he didn't get enough playing time. So I'm not crazy about this, not having spring games. I do think it's a big deal. It's a way to get people on your campus. It's a way to sell fandom, man. That's what makes college better. When you start taking spring football away, then it's just turning more pro by the year. You can just see it coming. Next year, we're going to have 16 teams. And for all you people that gripe about 3-loss teams, there's going to be a lot of 3-loss teams in it next year because there's not going to be that many 1 or 2-loss teams. You're going to have to get some decent teams that are just okay and play. And we're going to get more crap teams like crap in Indiana and freaking SMU and these goddamn tournaments play, and it's crap. And they get their britches blowed off, and people are like, that's a terrible game. I can't believe I watched it. That's what you wanted. So we're going to get more towards pro. And the more we get away from spring games and the more we expand these tournaments, it just seems like it's getting away from what makes college football. Next thing you know, they won't have bands at games. That'll be next. So I'm not excited about that. I think it's wrong. Now, NFL Combine stuff. Who's good to go and who's not ready to go? We got some guys not participating. Travis Hunter said at his meeting that he wanted to play both ways still. That's still something he thinks he can do. So, what do y'all think of that? Y'all think Travis Hunter can go to the NFL and play both ways? I mean, the league is a little softer than it was, even back in the 90s. And it's much softer than it was back in the 70s. So, I think he can play some both ways. He's a good athlete, but he is tiny. Dude, and you start lining up across these guys, covering these Jeffersons and trying to run and cover them and then go out and you're going to play receiver too. And these guys are not – this is not – you're not playing Colorado State and Arizona and some of these, Rudy Poo teams at the Big 12. It's the NFL, man. These are grown men, and from what they've already seen about him already, some of them, it's not like it used to be. It's not as bad as it used to be. They'll come out there and try to knock his britches. I was going to say knock his block off. They're going to try to knock his pants plumb off of him just to prove a point, just to be a butthole. If he does try to play both ways, I don't know how long that's going to work out for him. I'm just saying. So now, here's some of your favorite players, and maybe one or two you didn't think about, and we're going to get off here in about 10 minutes. I'm just going to run through this. Combine numbers, wide receiver 40 times. Texas receiver Golden was a 4.29, the fastest guy out there. Dyke, the Florida guy, receiver, runs a 4.34. Maryland's Felton, he winds up running a 4.37. Isaiah Bond said, I'm going out there and I'm going to run a 4.14. Well, he didn't. He ran a 4.39, which is great. Are you kidding me? Luther Burton at Missouri and the Colorado State guy Horton both run 4.41s. I don't know when a 4.41 is slow. Yeah, there was a lineman out here that, run like a 4.9. The guy weighs close to 300 pounds. That's awesome. So I don't know where these guys get off, but 4.29 Golden was the fastest kid out of Texas. Even Horn Jr., remember him at Colorado? He run a 4.46. That's blazing, man. That's crazy fast. Now, running backs, Ollie Gordon. I don't know what happened to him, man. He got in trouble preseason, and we had a big deal on him back last summer. I had him picked. I had a whole 20-minute spot on why he was going to be the dark horse Heisman winner. He's going to be lucky to be third round. 34-inch vertical, run a 4.7. 4.7? Now, a guy that did raise, I think, his draft stock, young man in Arizona, State there. Sun Devils, 39.5-inch vertical, and run a 4-something 40, Scattaboo. Increased his chances better. He's going to, depending on the team's needs, I don't know. I keep wanting to say late first round. He's at least going to be a day two guy. I'm just nearly sure of that. ETN run a 4.43, and James, the tailback at Oregon, he run a 4.45. These guys like him, though, because I watched them play, a couple of games this year. His instinctual ability to find the open hole in the line is great. I think he's definitely a second-round guy. I think he is. Hang on a second here, and we'll get into quarterbacks. Quarterback times and talk. Here's some guys that under-impressed to me. Will Howard looked very average. He missed times on some of the balls. Just was not really impressed with Will Howard that much. Yes, I agree. Yeah, Horn had an average 40. Didn't have a decent. Let's see, he run a 4.46. Horn did. That's great. Milroe, we know he can throw the deep ball. He's talked about he's not going to run the 40. I mean, they already know he's fast. He's going to run a 4.4 something, and he's big guy. The thing about Milroe, we'll take a little side topic for this. Milroe has pretty much just kind of laced in the idea that he's going to be a quarterback, period. He's not even going to consider. He's going to be a pro quarterback, by God, and he's going to need some work, man. He just can't make the right decisions up front to check in and out of stuff, and he's a great young guy. Big smile, big heart. Helped hold the Alabama team together when everybody was leaving, when Saban retired, and he's appreciated for that, I'm sure. He ended bad on the season, and then he goes to the Reese Senior Bowl, and it was even worse. He missed passes half the day, man. Mediocre little middle stuff. He's just got worse, and he just looks bad. Milroe looks like a late second-round guy. If somebody may want to take a shot, I think his ceiling is high. if somebody can help get him there, because most of it's just in his head. I think he lacks some confidence and stuff in some departments. So, man, it seemed like he'd just be open to. He wants to be a quarterback. I get it, man. You want to live your dreams. So that's kind of my thoughts on Milroe. But the guy I said was freaking awesome. Played great all year. I kept talking about him. Probably going. He's the best quarterback in the SEC. And I kept getting, how Beck was great. Or Beck's good. He's great. Georgia's win the SEC. I said, okay, that's great. I'm watching people play. Jackson Dart is him. He had an excellent combine. Dude's throwing deep, hitting the middle stuff. His footwork is good. Jackson Dart, high intelligence, accuracy was above average. He's a first-round pick. Somebody's going to pick him up and use him. He may be a guy that comes in and plays behind Mac Jones for a little bit at the Titans and may beat him out. So I think he's excellent. I really like that. Jackson Dart had a great day, man. He just had a great day. Quinn Ewers just did okay. I think he did probably. I just never was a fan of him. I just never was a huge fan of Quinn Ewers. Even I don't know. He's just okay. I mean, was he bad? No. He just misses something. There's something he just don't have. And I don't know if it's like leadership or his. I don't know, man. He just did as he does in the games. He just did okay. He'll make a living, man. He'll be a Colt McCoy. He'll go in and make some money. Kyle McCord, same thing. Very average. Didn't jump off the page at me none. Gabriel, I had a full day argument with somebody. Maybe I think it was one of the Auburn fans about Gabriel at Oregon. I was like, dude, he's not good. He plays in a system that works with a quarterback and a quarterback coach that knows how to use the quarterbacks, just like they did with Bo Nix. And I think Bo's going to be fine. He's gonna excel, and he's gonna he's had a pretty good year. He's just not that good, man. And I said that and said it, and people mocked and argued with me and argued with me that Gabriel was some guy. Like he's going to go out and just how great he is. He's not. He never has been. He played well in what they needed him to do there. And he looked bad. Y'all can go watch it. You can go back and watch it. I thought he was I think he lost draft stock. I think Gabriel will be a third-round guy. Cook ran a 4.5 40 with 37 minutes vertical. Wow. Missouri QB. What? They ran a 4.5? I wrote that down as I was hearing it. I know, and I didn't recheck it for myself. Maybe I need to look at that. 4.5? Wow. He had a good day, man. I seen his throws. I watched the little 2-minute video, him throwing the ball. He had a good day, man. He's going to make some money. He's probably going to be a first-day guy. And, of course, shut the Louisville quarterback, Lashley. Let's mention him. He's going to be your Aaron Rodgers stylish, Brett Favre-ish kind of player. He's a gunslinger, man. This guy can make the throws. He throws the ball hard. I mean, the ball, dude, it comes out of his hand. We're talking about the shook guy from Louisville. Like if you watch the old Alabama stuff, like Andrew Zal, how the ball just disappears off his hand. He just throws the ball hard. I think he'll definitely make some money too. Jeff says that Milroe is probably 4th or 5th round. I don't think he'd fall as far as 5. And the reason I say that is because Jalen is an athlete, man. His verticals and all that stuff is just crazy off the chart. His long jumps. That's what helped AR, be such a good target. He's at the Colts, and now they're moving on from him. They're going to put somebody ahead of him. Because he's an athlete, but he just misses those underthrows, and he won't check on the line. man, they're just head cases, man. They're not sure about themselves. And Coach JB and Smitty had a long talk about why some of these players, some of the black guy athletes, and I guess they might. Coach JB knows, bro. He's coached a lot of black quarterbacks or white ones or whatever. When they're younger, this is what Coach JB said. He said, we failed them. As coaches, we have failed these younger black quarterbacks because you expect them to be able to come in and escape pressure and be able to run, and get away, and that's an element part of their game. But they don't work on their throwing motions and don't work on the little mechanical things with them because they just use them to, their ability to scatter and scramble. And if you get some guys along the way, like some Lamar Jacksons that are just great at both, or Cam Newton had a good year or two, in the NFL, yeah. But for the most part, he just said it seems like that coaches have failed these young black guys, that they didn't spend enough time with them working with mechanics. And then you just throw them into college, and like Milroe's done, you could see it with Milroe. He's a perfect example. He never really developed any more out of high school. That's on the coaches, man. I mean, the coach is not going to stand out there and show, okay, now when we're throwing, our back foot's turned here and our hips are rotating, and our shoulder up, they're not out there doing mechanic stuff, breaking down. They're trying to get you the plays. Now, you can have a quarterback coach, and I know when Tua was at Bama, he talked about having a trainer. Jalen Hurts went out and got a trainer when he went pro. When he got drafted, he picked up some guy from up on the East Coast, some guru quarterback coach. So you have to take that extra time that they didn't get along their path. These young QBs, they've just been failed, and it's the coach's fault. So you can tell right there, Milroe is a great example. They just never, like in high school, it's just boom, man, he's great. I can't wait to see he play out there in Texas, and he was a big dog out there and won a lot of games. But when it's time to go to college, he just kind of leveled off, and then he has bad days, and he just falls. He always have a day where he just falls off. He can't throw. The receivers are looking at him like, what are you throwing at? Jackson Dart probably, to me, biggest surprise and probably the biggest flop, we'll end with that, it's probably Gabriel. And then not to me, but to a lot of people, because they really expected him to be some kind of great. And I told people he wasn't. He's not. Just wasn't. Gabriel I never seen it. When he was at Oklahoma, I never saw it. So that's some scouting reports for the combine, and there'll be some more intel along through the week, and we'll have different guys. I think linebackers win. I may look into that, and we'll share some of that on the page. But I thought that was interesting. Some of those guys are probably your favorite players, and maybe you want to know a little more, and you don't have time to look it all up, or maybe you're working a lot and got a lot going on. So that's what I'm here for. Locker Room Sports, show 273. That's a wrap for us. Next week, Diamond Dean should be back on location, should be back in the States. He got lost down in the Bermuda Triangle. Rescue planes have been sent. He's okay. He'll be on his way back. Look for the Diamond to be here. Next week, as we'll have a big picture, college basketball, SEC tournament stuff's going to be there, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. So y'all come back with us next week. God bless you. We appreciate you. Keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God, and we'll catch you next time here on Locker Room Sports. Thanks. People, appreciate you guys so much for coming by and hanging out. Be back next week. See you guys around the same time. Thanks.